keeping me at a distance. All that I'm asking for is forgiveness. Are you even listening? Am I talking to myself again? I keep on staring up at the ceiling.
The student will understand the specific safety standards applicable to the practice. The student will know the principles of operation of measurement system and conventional measurement tools. The student will know the conventional measurement instruments most frequently used in the manufacturing industry. The student will understand the interpretation of dimensional measurements and their associated uncertainty. The student will use the conventional measurement instruments, such as a scale, vernier, and micrometer, to determine the dimensions of simple objects.
Here we have a ruler, it's a standard one, and you just have measurements in here in centimeters and in inches in here. So it depends on which one you want to use, in which unit, but we use the centimeters. We have the compass in here, and to measure with this we need the ruler because we compare the size we get with the compass and put it with a ruler like this, so we can see the measurement according to the ruler.
This is the standard vernier. It's a normal vernier with no digital numbers, and you can measure it either in inches or in millimeters. This part is for when you measure the outside part, and this is for the internal parts. This is a vernier, a digital vernier. It's a device used to measure the bearing. It works by sliding like this, and you establish how much you want to measure. It has the possibility of establishing a 0 point, so that you can measure from that point and on. And you have to make sure it's in 0 when you start it here.
So in this practice we are gonna measure with different instruments the size of the bearing. With this size we are gonna identify which mistakes everyone in the team did, so we can have a better measurement of with each instrument.
On this practice, we are going to take a measure for this bearing with different instruments at the laboratory. First time, I have a grading ruler, compass, a manual vernier, and a digital vernier, and a micrometer. On this practice, we are going to take a measurement for this, and we are going to measure the external diameter, the internal, and the width.
We'll cover our names as the sun goes down. Hey, as the sun goes down. Hey, as the sun goes down. As the sun goes down. Doesn't matter where we are. Doesn't matter where we are. Doesn't matter, no.
Hello.
The measurements that we took in the experiment were not the same. The reason of this is because some of the operators measured differently than the others. One example is one of our teammates made a mistake and he measured the outer line of the diameter in the bearing instead of measuring the inner line. So this is why the measurements were different from the others.
The instrument that generated the most variation in our team was the micrometer. This is because according to all the instruments we used, it was the most complex to use, and also adding that the parameters varied according to the operator. These both things mixed together made this tool the more complex. The reasons of our variation were mainly, as we said, the parameters used by the different operators, for example. Another reason could be the pressure applied at each instrument by each operator. For example, one of us could apply more pressure at the vernier and another one less pressure, so it makes a huge difference. Another reason of the variation could be the systematic errors. For example, when we use the digital vernier, it could be configured wrongly by us. And another error could be that we measured in centimeters and it was in inches, and that's it.
The instrument that we could use in another experiment is the digital vernier. The reason of this is because as it is a digital instrument, it's more accurate than our measurements. So this is the main reason of why we would choose the digital vernier. And another reason is that the digital vernier is equipped with an instrument that can help us to measure the inner diameter of the bearing in a better way.
As a conclusion, we found out that this practice was very useful for us because two of the three people measured the same way and another one measured as a different way. For example, for the internal diameter, two of the three people measured from the hole and the other one measured from the complete aluminum circle in the center. So there was a big difference in the measurements of this circular thing and as well, two of the three measured from the external diameter and the other one measured from the internal. So as well there is a difference, and we found out that this was very useful to learn how to measure things.
Hola.